guys, it's Emma, Kettle Books editor. You'll probably notice that there's someone missing. Krishma and I are really sad that we can't do the video book reviews together anymore, but obviously because the university term has now ended, we have now moved out of our shared house. We're really sad about that, but we had so much fun making the video book reviews together. So thank you to everyone that watched them, and we hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to try and take over on my own, but I know that they won't be anywhere near as good. But today I'm going to be reviewing Louise O'Neill's Only Ever Yours. If you visit the Kettle Mag site regularly, you might have heard of Only Ever Yours because one of our writers, Aoife, did a review for the book section not that long ago, and that was really interesting, so you should definitely go and check that out. The premise of Only Ever Yours is that Louise O'Neill has created a kind of, well, a definitely dystopian world where girls are not born, but they are what the book calls designed. So they're made to kind of be as attractive as possible, and then they're sent to finishing schools where they will learn to be a good wife. And the men in the novel are very much in control, so when the girls finish school, the men are allowed to kind of choose which girl they want to be their wife. So I guess you could say it's almost a kind of feminist dystopian novel maybe, but that would obviously be contentious because of how unrealistic it is. So that's something that Aoife really draws on in her review, and her article's main question is whether Only Ever Yours is really dystopian, or whether it kind of shares more with real life than we might realise. And Aoife's kind of conclusion is that there are certain aspects that actually kind of echo real life, and that's something I found kind of difficult to get my head around when reading this book. There are definitely aspects that strike a chord with kind of debates about girls and women and feminism today. So for example, the girls all have to stay at a certain target weight and eat certain foods. So Louise O'Neill there is kind of obviously drawing on issues with size zero models and the portrayal of women in the media, things like that, which are kind of really important issues for girls and women today. And another example that's comes to mind, and I think stands out to me, is kind of the way that the males in the novel talk to and talk about and act around the girls in the novel kind of seems to echo the kind of sexual harassment that has been brought to our attention by things like Laura Bates's Everyday Sexism. So in that way, I'd say that Louise O'Neill is definitely kind of drawing on the contemporary issues for women and girls and the kind of most contemporary types of feminism. It's sinister, especially for me, like as a female reader, and this is something Aoife picked up on as well. It's sinister to read something that you think is fantasy and then think, actually, that's not that different from real life. So I think that's something that Louise O'Neill does really well. But at the same time, it is kind of important to remember that it is supposed to be a kind of fantastical dystopia. The countries and continents that we know today don't exist in the world in Only Ever Yours. People live in different zones, and there are no kind of presidents or kings or queens or prime ministers. The power structure is completely different, and everyone answers to the father. So Louise O'Neill really has created like a completely different world, and she really cleverly kind of creates her own, almost like her own language to talk about kind of the culture and the routines and the things that go on in this world. I think for me that was something that wasn't necessarily the easiest to get into, because usually, apart from obviously Harry Potter, I don't tend to go for fantasy books. I tend to prefer ones that are a bit closer to home. But so I think if you can kind of get past that and realise that it is supposed to be a kind of a dystopia, you know, I wouldn't say don't go into this book thinking it's going to be something that really gives like a realistic portrayal of the position of women and girls in society, because you'll probably just end up thinking, this is so exaggerated and hyperbolic, what's going on? But if you can kind of appreciate it for the fact that it is kind of a really exaggerated and the most extreme kind of representation of a very very unequal patriarchy, then that's when I think you can really take a lot from the book. Some of it I think is kind of borders on being humorous and slightly almost parody like, kind of almost like a send up of what that kind of society would be like. So she manages to equally make it sort of light-hearted as well, and I think it's really clever the way Louise O'Neill brings those two elements together. The writing is not too flowery, not too decorative, not too heavy going at all. It's very kind of easy to read and easy to get into. I'd say like it's a book you could take on holiday with you. Don't be kind of put off by the fact that it's fantastical and not set in the real world, because like I said, that's not something I would usually go for either. But I actually really enjoyed Only Ever Yours. I think I would give this one a 4 out of 5, and I definitely recommend that you read it and also go and read Aoife's review and then leave us comments, because we like comments and we like to know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this review. It's been sad without Karishma, but hopefully I can do some more, so hopefully see you next time.